we but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found within us. If we change ourselves, the tendencies in the world will also change. This paraphrased quote from Mahatma Gandhi is the basis of the program you are about to hear. I'm Daedalian, and this is Shining Stars, a program dedicated to searching out and bringing attention to individuals and organizations that are fostering positive change within our community and within our world. Thank you for joining me here on Shining Stars. With me in the studio is someone that I have actually known for a very, very long time. And ever since I've known him, he has always been involved with helping to create and organize different events. In fact, if you've ever attended most any music-based event, especially, or maybe a festival here in the mid-Michigan area, very likely that he has somehow been involved with it in some sort of way. Beyond the many hats that he wears for festivals and events, he is also the founder of an event known as the Music Instrument Swap. Now, this event actually turned in and became something else. It was created for musicians to go in, buy, sell, and trade equipment at the event, but now the concept is transformed into a local retail store as well. Not only is somebody that I've known for a long time, but also a very good friend. His name is Shawn VanSteeland. Welcome to the show, Shawn.
Daedalian, thank you for having me on the show today.
This is very cool. It's one of those things where it's like when I actually approached you about coming into the show, it's kind of weird because we've been friends for so long. Like I remember back in high school that it seemed like you were very involved in the talent shows that we did.
Sure. Talent shows, drama club. We did all that stuff back in the days.
And it was one of those things where it seems to have migrated into what you do. And I always joke about it that you need to get paid, but you don't typically get paid.
Well, like most great artists, as we know, most great artists don't get paid. But, we do it because we love to do it.
And I love that you do it. In fact, there are other people that love that you do it. You recently got the Volunteer of the Year for what, 2022 from the Grand Ledge Chamber of Commerce?
Actually, it was 2021, I think. It was 2021.
Oh, it was 2021.
Yeah, it was 2021, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was actually based in 2019, but it had to get, or 2020, it had to get pushed to the next year. I was super happy to get it. I've been doing stuff in Grand Ledge for probably close to 14, 15 years. We do a ton of stuff in Grand Ledge. You, along with me, the Grand Ledge parades. We do almost every parade in Grand Ledge.
Right.
We do Yankee Doodle Days. We do the new Beer Fest. We started that one as well, too.
Yes, I do very often get volunteered for some of your events, don't I?
It's funny how that works out, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's kind of funny how that works out. But that's the story of my life. I mean, everything I've done is all about relationships and good friends. There's none of this stuff I could do without having really good friends, and that's how we've been able to do all this stuff. So.
And it seems like Grand Ledge has kind of become your second home in a way.
Yeah. Well, as some people know, we grew up in Mason, and
right.
I actually live in Holt. But I do an absolute ton of stuff in Grand Ledge. But the good thing now is I'm starting to branch out. So Delta Township, helping out Delta Township with some events they've got coming on, and then the amazing city of Lansing. For the last 3 years, we've been helping those guys out as well. So we're definitely branching out.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Grand Ledge Music in the Park. That's kind of where, it seems like you all of a sudden decided you were going to be doing all these different types of events. Tell me about the Grand Ledge Music in the Park. When does it happen? And of course, I believe we had to have a little bit of a pause one year. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah. We had a little bit of a pause, so we had to take 2020 off. We had to take 2020 off. We kind of came back.
Coming back strong this year, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
What year do we call this?
Geez, we think it's somewhere around the 13th year is what we're thinking. Grand Ledge Music in the Park. It was started by myself and my good friend LCC's own Michael Fredericks.
Right.
Two of us started it many years ago.
Michael Fredericks, a lot of people don't know that he's the bass player in the band Global Village.
He is the bass player and the founding member of Global Village. So he's absolutely amazing. And Grand Ledge Music in the Park going to be starting out towards the end of June. We're going to be doing 9 shows this summer. For me, I feel like I have an incredible lineup in Grand Ledge. We're starting out with 3 Men and a Tenor. We've got bands like, there's some new bands.
You got the Frog King coming this year, right?
The Frog King is one of my favorites.
Explain to people what the Frog King is, because as much as I get it, now, I didn't understand what this was. And the guy is phenomenal.
He is.
He's fun to watch.
And I didn't realize, I didn't know how to explain it in the beginning, but the Frog King is actually a tribute to Neil Diamond. And we've done a lot of tribute things over the years, but so far that has been one of my favorite shows that we've been putting on is the Frog King. It's a tribute to Neil Diamond. He's going to be doing some stuff in Lansing this summer. So we have him in Grand Ledge. He's going to do a show in Delta Township this summer as well. And he's also going to be doing a show at Lake Lansing Band Show.
Okay, so you've got him at multiple events this year.
Yep, he's going to be separated by months. So it'll be June, July, and August. So there'll be 3 chances to catch the Frog King. And these guys are out of Grand Rapids. And
Explain it to me, man. Why the Frog King? Why is that the name?
It's because, and I don't know the name of the song, and somebody's going to really be mad at me as far as a big Neil Diamond fan. But inside of one of those songs, he claims himself as the Frog King. I did not come prepared as I should, but that was the whole thing with the Frog King.
All right. So it's kind of like Jim Morrison's The Lizard King, I guess.
Yeah, well, or the Beatles tribute band Toppermost. I never understood that. And then I got it was a reference to a Beatles, not a song, but it was something they said. So Toppermost.
Gotcha. Yeah. So major props to Michael Fredericks, of course, for being involved and getting it started. And I remember a long time ago when you first got this going, it was at the small park.
Yeah.
But that, of course, is migrated over to JC Park every year. Explain to me exactly, because again, I will say it. Very often when Shawn and I are talking, I'm like, dude, you need to get paid. But you don't. And explain to me why you do what you do.
Well, I guess we'll talk about the pay thing. So one of the things I'm absolutely terrible about is raising money. Nothing. I cannot do anything without sponsors. So for me, it was always a matter of, in order for me to get paid, it meant I had to go and raise more money. So I've always been like, we're going to raise just enough to do the event, and then we're going to see how these things go. Grand Ledge was just awesome. A good friend of mine, Daedalian Lowry, actually did the very first poster for the Grand Ledge. I think we called it a long time ago. I think we called it Music in the Garden, I think is what actually we called it. Started as, what it was? I think it was Music in the Garden, because I remember you have like flowers and stuff in the pot.
I think it was Music in the
I
Park.
Still have the poster somewhere, but that's really all this stuff.
We'll have to verify those facts.
But you, and the reason I always pulled you into this stuff is I hate getting up and talking in front of people. It's funny, I own a DJ business and I still hate getting in hearing my voice. You've done an amazing job announcing.
You're not going to say it, so I'm going to say it for you.
Sure.
The thing that I remember you saying to me one time is, I just love watching people have fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And that is what I know about you.
Sure.
And that's what I think is awesome, that you get involved in all these different events and all these things that you do around town.
Yeah.
And I have seen you times very tired, but it is cool that you are always and you're always willing to help out others. Like,
sure.
I think it was, I want to say episode 6, I had Metro Malik in here.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Metro Malik does the 517 day, which is awesome.
Yep.
You got involved with that without, again, expecting anything in return.
No, absolutely. But Malik, or Metro Malik as we know him, he did a great job building up what he was doing. And for me, whenever I feel like people are putting the work in, a good friend of ours who's now in California, Taylor, you guys have had her on the show before. We love her to death. And her and her mom, Kristen, they just did a great job of really putting the work in. And that's where, whenever I see people like that who are putting the hard work in, I'm more than happy to help with whatever my talents are. My talents usually are more in the, trying to find the bands, making sure, sound and all that stuff is ready to go for the bands. I played in a band for years. It's funny, I haven't played in a band in over 5 years, but for me, it's a matter of, I like helping to put stuff on, and like what you said, my biggest joy in all of this is just when it's a beautiful 70-degree sunny weather day and people just have a great time. That's something that, how do you put a price on something like that?
Well, and it seems to be that obviously for you, music has always kind of been the focal point of most of the events you do. And I think in this, you started out helping Paul from the Beer Fest, right?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Paul started.
Did you help him out with this upcoming event? We got one coming up, end of April?
Yeah, he's going to do
every year at the end of April, right? The Beer Fest at
Yep.
It's not Cooley Stadium.
Yeah, I know.
Anymore.
Yeah.
But the baseball stadium.
Yep. Beer Fest at Lugnut Stadium. Yep. And actually, I helped him out with the one we just did in Rio Town last month. and that was the Lansing Art and Craft Beer. And I think you've been a part of that before.
I have, yes, yep.
Yeah, and that was we had some just great, wonderful bands, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about the one coming up at Lugnut Stadium. They put some big numbers in there, and for me, I'm always excited to because for me with bands, I like bands to be in front of crowds. I think it's great for them to be in front of new people that maybe had never heard of them. We've got a band here in Lansing called Wild Honey Collective. They're going to be at the Lansing.
Oh yeah, always good to see them.
Oh, those guys are great, and so I'm pretty excited. One of our friends who I haven't seen in a while, which I'm excited to see, is Cash O'Reilly.
Oh yeah,
yep, Cash is super awesome. He's going to be at that show. So yeah, we're pretty excited.
That's at the Beer Fest one.
Yep, that's at the Lugnuts one. It's coming up here at the end of April, so that's the Lansing Beer Fest. Yep. So
very cool. I guess positive change. You and I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff, and so this is a little bit unusual. But when I say the words positive change, what exactly? How would you define that?
Yeah, good question. Positive change. I guess I hadn't really.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I hadn't
That's
really
why I
thought
came
about,
up with it.
Yeah, I hadn't really. Yeah, good question. I hadn't really thought about positive change. For me,
give me a definition. What do you call it?
But positive change, I feel like I don't know. It's hard to define it, but I feel for me, the positive change is working with other people. I can't stress this enough that I could not do what I do if it weren't for other people that I work with. And I've just, a lot of it for me is I don't feel like there's a book or school you can go to learn to do what I'm doing. I feel like the best way to do it is just go out there and work and learn from other people. And everybody I work with, whether it's Metro Malik, whether it's Paul Starr, whether it's Amy Hoyes at the Grand Ledge Chamber, whether it's Daedalian Lowry at LCC. I mean, Michael Fredericks. I mean, every one of these guys. You've got Mark Stiles from 3 Minute a Tenor, Dana from Star Farm. I mean, I've always been excited about music as a business. Most artists, they don't believe, music is a business. For me, I'm just always excited about, how can we bring more people to these shows? Back to the positive change, which is where we're getting back to. Grand Ledge is a great example of positive change. 13 years ago, on a Thursday night, there was nothing to do in Grand Ledge. Now, we'll get crowds anywhere from, 300 to 400 on a low side to as much as 1,400 for bands like 3 Minute a Tenor and Star Farm and Global Village. To me, that's positive change. Grand Ledge, parades, tons of parades. We do parades, but again, it's the kids that love parades. Again, positive change.
Well, and the reason I specifically ask you is because I knew you wouldn't put yourself into that definition specifically, because you tend to be a relatively humble person. You're somebody I appreciate, and I do appreciate the fact that you do, in my definition, create positive change. These events that you do, and you're helping out. Let's start with economy first of all. A lot of those folks go down there and into whatever event that's happening, and they'll go to the different businesses. But it goes back to the same thing we were just talking about earlier, where people are having fun, and that is just awesome to see that. And it is got to be cool just to know that you are the catalyst to make that happen. You recently, again, it's like you're making Grand Ledge your second home. The music instrument swap, I don't want to dive too much into it, but of course you started this as an event, almost like a networking event for musicians, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
How did you decide you were going to do this? Did you springboard it off of somebody else's idea?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a drummer, and so we always go down to the Chicago drum show. Rob Cook does an amazing job. We went down there. We're like, this would be really cool. We should do it here in Lansing. And so we actually started the whole music swap as a drum show. Did it for a few years and realized that it's hard to get a lot of people to bring drums out. So we opened it up to all music instruments, and then we called it the music instrument swap. So, which actually started once again in Grand Ledge. But yeah, we've been doing it for going on close to 11, 12 years. We've been doing it. We just had the one here in Lansing just last month. Now it's grown into something bigger. Lansing, we do Lansing. We're doing one in Kalamazoo in the end of April. I'll do one in Grand Rapids in September, and then finally we do one in Ann Arbor in November. So I'm doing.
So at this point, 4 annual ones.
Yep, 4 annual shows around Michigan. So.
Okay. And now we'll add on to that a little bit. And I am so happy for you on this, in that, this is like a passion for you. So it was very cool to see you open up a store in Potterville originally. And again, Now in Grand Ledge, right?
Well, actually, technically Delta Township, but I do have.
Right. On the borderline.
Yeah,
right.
we're on the borderline, and so we're on the borderline.
Yeah, you always have to correct me on that.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
like,
this
is Grand
Well,
Ledge.
I just want Delta because I work with Delta Township, and I
I
don't
get
want
you.
them to get mad at me too. Like, hey, you're in Delta Township.
That's fair.
But I also have a Lansing mailing address, so the city of Lansing likes me too. I just want to be liked by everybody. But yeah, we opened up a store a few years ago, and it was just one of those things where, like most things in my life, I don't know if things are going to work out. Whether it's music in the park, whether it's doing the shows. We just said let's just give it a shot. And so we started down in Potterville. Now in just 2 years, we have the largest selection of used drums in Michigan. I have the largest selection of used guitars in Lansing, and we've only been doing it for 2 years.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty proud of that. So.
All right, so we hit on Grand Ledge Music in the Park, Beer Fest in the ballpark. Now you're involved with the other Lansing Music in the Park, is that right?
Yeah, yep. So Lansing's Music in the Park, we've been doing it for a few years now. I've been helping them out. We moved to different parks throughout the summer. That's going to happen, I think, towards the end of June. I think is going to be, actually, we have one kicking off. They're going to do a kickoff to Art Path. So that'll be the first one. But then Lansing has theirs on Wednesday nights, and we move them to different parks throughout Lansing throughout the summer. So I think we're going to do a total of, if I'm not mistaken, I think 9 shows this summer with City of Lansing.
Okay.
That's on Wednesday. Delta Townships, theirs are on Tuesday nights. We're doing 4 shows. The first one, Metro Malik, is going to combine 517 Day with Delta Township's very
Awesome.
first Music in the Park. So we're pretty excited for that. So.
That's very cool.
Yep.
Sometimes I pull you into stuff. And we used to, and I'm kind of hoping to return to it. We had to take a break for a little bit, but we used to do the Cardboard Classic here at WLNZ with Geyer Community Center. And that was always fun. I loved doing it. It was very awesome. And there was, you, of course, didn't attend LCC yourself, but your wife did. Both your daughters did. What was the most positive experience that you can tell me about that had to do with LCC?
Oh, I mean, yeah. So my wife, she went to LCC, and she's got a wonderful job and had nothing but a great experience. Both my daughters, actually my youngest daughter is just finishing up LCC, but they both went here, and we've got nothing but great experience with LCC. I think it's a great school. I think for the as far as what you get for it, and if I ever thought about going back to school, I did my 4 years. I don't know, unlike you that loved school.
Now, see, that's not true because like you, both of us went to you went to Ferris, I went to MSU. And my experience at MSU was like, wow, this is overwhelming, man. This classroom is the size of our bigger than the size of our graduating class. So
yeah. And that's one of the things we're looking at is, Big Rapids, Ferris State University. They talked to me about possibly doing a music show up there. So we're thinking about doing that next year. And then we're having dreams, and again, right now it's just a dream of doing a show in Detroit. So we're thinking about doing a guitar show in Detroit. So we'll see. And then somehow I'm going to try to work back to another just drum show by itself. We've got a lot of great friends of ours around Michigan that build custom drums, Virtue, Indie Drums, Mattoon Drums. So we've got a lot of really cool people. And then Rob Cook, who puts on the Chicago Drum Show that now lives here in East Lansing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
cool.
So we're hoping he might come and be a part of that as well. So that's more dreams. I know you keep telling me no more. Let's not do any more stuff, just like my wife. But I just can't stop. And plus, I mean, for me, when somebody comes up with ideas, we did an Oktoberfest in Grand Ledge a few times. We did Winterfest in Grand Ledge for a few years. I know you were along for all those days.
Yankee Doodle days.
Yankee Doodle days.
So you said, like the Frog King, I think is a pretty cool one. I'm trying to think of some of the bigger names. I know you got Rebecca coming up, right?
Yeah, Rebecca Brunner. She was from our hometown, Mason, and she was on The Voice. So she's going to be cool. Actually, so I'm doing 517 Day in Delta Township. That's Global Village, Okemos or East Lansing School of Rock, And then 2 days later, Rebecca is actually going to kick off Mason's Music in the Park in front of the courthouse. So she's going to do that on May 19th. So if you guys get a chance, we highly recommend.
And she's getting more polished every time I see her. Like the quality of what she's doing, the style, her on-stage presence, and she's always had it anyway. But you can tell she's excelling, like, you know, getting higher in her level of performance. So it's always awesome to see her.
Yep, yeah. And when the first time I saw her, I'd never really seen her live, and it was a few years ago. We had her at Sun-Dried, and she brought a band up from Chicago, and those guys were just phenomenal. And then last year, she put a band together of some people here in Lansing, and those guys were just great. And then they kind of sprung off to another band called the Corzo Effect, and those guys are really starting to make kind of a name for themselves. And we got them doing some stuff. Actually, I think the kickoff for Lansing's Art Path, I think Corzo Effect is going to be the final band on that day. So.
All right. I think we need to redub you as Mr. Festival.
Mr. Festival.
That should be your new name.
Well, Mike Fredericks, he dubbed me
Mr. Party's already taken. You're Mr. Festival.
Mike had me as the Fun Czar of Grand Ledge.
Ooh, I like that.
I was the Fun Czar. So the Fun Czar.
You got to drop the Grand Ledge. Don't get me wrong. When you're in Grand Ledge, you can use it, but you just should be the Fun Czar.
Hey, Mike put that out there, and the Fun Czar, I can live with that. Mr. Party was cool, man. I'm telling you, man. If I could, Did we miss any festivals? Did we want to give anything else a mention just to let people know? Well, the big one for us is Sun-Dried and Mason. We do Sun-Dried and Mason's end of August. The reason I say it's a big one for us is because that's where we grew up. I don't know if we actually ever grew up, but for us, a good friend of mine, Leon Clark from Mason, he started that many years ago. I help him with it, and you help him with it as well. And for me, it's another great example. I mean, most of my life I've watched people do things because, just because they wanted to do it, or they weren't concerned about money.
Right.
Leon Clark was a great example of that. Keith Mulder and Grand Ledge. Names are kind of as I'm getting older, I'm starting to miss people. But
we both suffer from that. So.
But I watched these people do these great events, for no other reason than they just wanted it to do great community things. Now, it doesn't pay your bills, and it's exhausting some days, but on the other hand, like we were talking about, just when you do a great event and you look out and people are just having a great time, that's to me, that's pay enough.
Very cool. Well, we didn't hit on a lot of specifics here because my main goal was to bring you in and just give you props for just the awesome stuff that you do here in the community, and to show my appreciation for that, and of course help people to get to know somebody behind the scenes of a lot of the festivals, events that happen here in Lansing. Obviously, like I said, we didn't hit on very specific stuff. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, could they do that through the Music Instrument Swap website? Or
Absolutely. Yep. You can go into
what's the address?
Just musicinstrumentswap.com. So that's the address for our website. If you have any questions, you can find us on Facebook. You can go onto our website. As far as the events this summer, so Grand Ledge Chamber, you can check out their website for the information for their music. Delta Township has a great website for theirs, and then obviously the City of Lansing has an amazing website and all their social media stuff as well. So.
And very often you've got pamphlets, information at the store as well, right?
Yes, I am old. I love posters. I love business cards. I finally figured out how to use a QR code a week ago. So
well done.
I'm getting closer, man. I'm getting closer. So,
hey, man, I want to say thanks for coming in and talking with me. Time for our final conceptual question of the day. Are you ready for it?
Hit me.
This is for each and every one of my Shining Star guests. If you had the ability to snap your fingers and put one thought into the collective consciousness of the entire human race at the same time, what would that thought be?
Well, my thing, I guess, would be to work together. I mean, I think that's really my theme the last 15 years, is just everybody working together. As I do these events, as I build our music store, the wonderful thing for myself is just working with other people, whether it's other music stores, whether it's other people that do festivals. Growing up playing in bands, I felt like there was a ton of competition. There still is sometimes, but I learned a long time ago that if you can work with other people, you can get a lot more stuff done. And I'm a huge example of, people always come up to me like, oh man, it's awesome that you do this and this and this. And I try to explain to people like, I'm not the one that does it.
Right.
It's the other volunteers. It's the sponsors, and again, I mean, for myself, when I'm doing events, I tell people, I'm like, we're a team. Everybody's a team. The sponsors, the volunteers, the people coming to the shows, the bands, we're all, one big team. So, for me, if I can, anything, as far as, helping people is just the idea of working together and sharing information. That's another thing that some people don't like to share information.
I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
I will anything. I've always been this way because I'm like, well, look, I mean, I don't own the information. I'm like, hey, this is, if it helps you to get past, and for myself, I've been very fortunate for people sharing information. So, we don't have to hit a lot of those hurdles that, otherwise you have to kind of figure out. So.
Well, especially in the scenarios that we're talking about. I mean, it comes down to it's kind of like you said, it's not a competition. It's a matter of common goal, really. But very cool. So that's your thing. Get along.
Well, get along, share information, and yeah, perfect.
Remember, we can all contribute something good to this world, no matter how big or small. A simple smile, a friendly gesture, that's all it takes to expand the power of positivity 1 inch further. I encourage you to find your shining star within by being the change you want to see. Thanks so much for listening to Shining Stars and, of course, sharing your time with me today. I'm Daedalian, and you can listen to this episode of Shining Stars on demand, along with other LCC Connect programs at lccconnect.org.